Finding that ultimately the freedom from it is something people are kind of hungry for in a way.
Right.
They're like, I don't want to be me either.
Right.
You know, and I go, well, great, because you never have been.
Eventually, one will realize that their own very character or personality can be a chore sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to be yourself, especially when it's done for the wrong audience. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
I believe that I had to become a famous, idea,
Yeah.
and get all the stuff that people dream about, and accomplish a bunch of things that, that look like success in order to give up my attachment to those things.
So we got here a little interview where Jim Carrey talked about his life, just a sit down and talk type of interview. And what fascinated me was that when he got to the time of becoming the person that he is today, playing so many characters, being a character, putting on a character often comes with absorbing a personality that may not be you naturally. Whether it's romance, action, thriller. We've heard of actors that had to stay in a particular role for a day or two before they went on to perform that role in the movie or a film that we all watched. And the mental strength that it takes for you to portray that role for a couple episodes or for a whole movie, which is shot over a long period of time.
So those who wish to masquerade for the rest of this virtual game sometimes are made really uncomfortable by it.
Now, this is just acting. Imagine having to carry on a role outside the job. Imagine having to bring your work home to your family, to your friends. A place where you're just supposed to be who you are is now a place where people want you to be like the person that they've watched in the film. Now, that doesn't mean that, because you're a funny guy, you can't be a funny guy in the movies. It's just a different level of mental environment that you place yourself in. And when people do these things for the wrong audience, to achieve fame, to achieve material possessions, to get people to like you, but to like you for the wrong reasons, because any reason that somebody likes you that is not for you is wrong. If somebody does not like you for who you are, that's the wrong reason to be liked. Now, this can bring about happiness, sadness, a cycle of emotions. And even though sadness is correlated to depression, they are not the same thing. Sadness is temporary, happiness is temporary. Joyfulness is more permanent. Depression is more of a permanent state. And normally something has to pull you out of that. You kind of have to pull yourself out of that state. If not, you will remain there. Sadness and happiness normally comes from the state of your environment that you're in, or the state, or what's just going on in your life in the whole. Joyfulness and depression is something that you have to place yourself there and intentionally keep yourself there by all means necessary.
You talk about like Jim Carrey the man, Jim Carrey the performer. Are you more comfortable as one or the other, or is that are they even mutually exclusive? I
don't exist. So they're all characters that I've played, including Jim Carrey, including any of those things. They're all characters. Jim Carrey was a less intentional character,
right?
Because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character, so it's, I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
So we get to this. The people that we see in the social media light, the celebrities, the rich and the famous, everybody thinks that they're happy because they have the money, the fame, the possessions, the relationships that they all have. And even though that may cause a facade or a temporary relief, it does not really make them happy. Now, one would advise that it's good to be happy before you get all these things, but everybody will make that choice for themselves. And vice versa. You can see somebody that doesn't have anything, that doesn't have much to his name, but he loves his job, he loves his family, she loves the life that she has, and they're satisfied. They don't need much more. And you'd be surprised where that person will be in the next couple years. And then you realize that all this hurt, all this pain, all this source of depression and anxiety comes from two things that I've noticed so far. There's probably more, but two things that I've noticed so far: ego and loss.
And then at a certain point you go like, okay, well, that's great, but it's like the one thing, like people talk about depression all the time. The difference between depression and sadness is just, from whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or grief or whatever it is. Your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me.
One's ego to be perceived in a certain way. One's ego to be right. One's ego to be correct. One's ego to always be on top of people. Never being afraid of losing. And when loss eventually comes, it puts you in the state that you never imagined yourself being in the first place. Loss of people, loss of friends. And that's where people don't get to realize is that as long as you're alive, you will always lose people, or you will be the one that is lost. We all have a certain type of ego because nobody likes to portray their bad side. Everybody always likes to portray their good side, the good sides of their relationships, the good sides of their money, the good sides of their business. Nobody likes to talk about when they're having issues in their marriage. Nobody likes to talk about when they're having issues in their workplace. Nobody likes to talk about when they're having issues in their own personal life. And the few times that we get to see that is like a big sigh of relief. Depression is real. But one also has to remind themselves that joyfulness is also real. And that's something that only you can do for yourself. And get help where you need them. Because at the end of the day, the same people that were happy for you are the same people that will hate you because they no longer see themselves in you or through you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Like and share.